le masculin et le féminin. So let's see how we will modify some words that are masculine into a feminine form here. Because, for instance, we're talking about, well, whether professions or occupations. Here, student, assistant, actor, dancer, baker, and then computer scientist. It looks quite nice in English. Informaticien is nice, but still in English. Computer scientist, it's really interesting. Okay, so the rule in French is to add a at the end of a word to put the feminine form. Okay, so for instance here we've got étudiant and then we've got assistant here. Okay, you just take it back here, étudiant, and then you will add this a at the end without modifying the first part. Okay, so it will of course change a little bit the pronunciation, because you will pronounce it at the masculine form. Il est étudiant. Okay, A-N-T, étudiant. Okay, but then for the feminine form, elle est étudiante. Okay, t, t, t. Okay, you don't really insist on the E, but you insist quite much on the T. Elle est étudiante. Il est assistant. So don't pronounce the final T here. But for the feminine form, elle est assistante. Okay? Étudiant, étudiante. Assistant, assistante. Alright? Then we've got now the tricky ones. Il est acteur. Okay, so it's one of the irregular ones. EUR here, acteur, and it will become RIS. So EUR is becoming RIS. Elle est actrice. So acteur is becoming actrice. Okay, and then we've got a second group with this EUR combination. Il est danseur. EUR is becoming euse. Danseuse. Okay, danseur masculine, danseuse feminine form. Il est danseur, elle est danseuse. Okay, then we've got this group like boulanger, boulanger, ER. So if you add this final E at the end, then you will have to put this accent here, accent grave. Remember, when you've got this E plus this accent grave, you pronounce it like E, really open E sound. Okay, so boulanger, boulanger, and then feminine form, boulangère, boulangère. Same thing, don't insist too much on the final E, boulangère. Okay, il est boulanger, elle est boulangère. Alright? And the last group is IEN, informaticien, yin, yin, yin. So that's the way to pronounce this IEN, yin, yin. Okay? Informaticien. Alright? And then, if you look carefully, then here, okay, you will have to double the N and then add this final E. Okay? And you get the sound informaticienne, sienne. Remember, E and then double N, or then it could be double L or double consonant here. You open your E, so it's E. Informaticienne. Okay, so I tend to insist a little bit. Okay, don't worry, I will pronounce it a bit more normally after. Il est informaticien, elle est informaticienne. Okay, so let's see them one more time. Il est étudiant, elle est étudiante. Il est assistant, elle est assistante. Il est acteur, elle est actrice. Il est danseur. Elle est danseuse. Il est boulanger. Elle est boulangère. Il est informaticien. Elle est informaticienne. We'll work on the vowels, les voyelles, in this lesson, and then we'll see how they behave when we combine them with another letter. So the vowels that we will work on, we won't take this Y vowel on purpose, okay? So we'll focus only on A, E, I, O, U. Okay, so remember, one more time. A, E, I, O, U. Okay, remember, this U is usually can be quite tricky for English-speaking persons, especially the difference between the U and the OO. Okay, but we'll see that a bit later. So if you combine this vowel A with the vowel I, okay, you will get the sound E. So really open, E. Okay, and then if you combine it with the vowel U, then you will get the sound O. O. Alright, so, well, exactly the same sound as this O vowel here. So it's the same O. Okay, and then if you combine it with the letter N, in that case, you will get what we call a nasal, so it goes in your nose, and then you get the sound on. Okay, if you listen carefully, well, basically you don't listen, or you don't hear, sorry, any N in my pronunciation. On. Okay, let's see what happens with E. So E combined with the vowel I will give you the sound E. So the same sound as we had previously here, okay, so it's the same sound, and it's E, so really open. And now if you combine it with the U, you will get the sound And if you combine it with N, then you get the sound en. So the same sound as we had when we combine N with A, okay? En. Alright, so let's see now for E. So for E, obviously, if you get two times the same letter, then it will be a bit longer, so E. Okay, same thing for U, it doesn't really happen. And then here, that's the interesting one. If you combine E with N, then you will get the sound un. Okay, in your nose, un. Alright, so let's see O now. If you combine O and E, you will get the sound wa. So make it, repeat it like that, you know, wa. And then after that, only one, wa. Okay? Then if you combine it with U, you will get the sound oo. So as I said previously, the difficulty, one of the big difficulty for English-speaking persons is this difference between the oo here and the U here. Ooh, U. Okay, so you'll have the time to work on that, but still it's oo in that case. If you combine it with N, then you will get the sound on. Same thing, nasal, so in your nose, on. Alright, let's see the last one. So if you combine U and I, you get the sound oui. Alright, so really U, it's not oo, okay, so it's U, ui. Alright, and then, well, basically it doesn't exist, this uo, and if you combine it with the N, then you get the sound un. So before we had the difference between this un here and this un here, but nowadays in France, at least, you don't make any difference between the two, okay, so it's un here and un here. Alright, so let's see them one more time. A, E, O, en. E, E, en. I, un. O, wa, ou, on, discover les chiffres in this lesson. I hope you're ready because it's starting right now. Les chiffres. 0, 0. Okay, so remember, you get this z and then e accent aigu, zéro. Okay, then 1. All right, so when you combine this u and n, you get the nasal sound 1, 1. 2. Final X not pronounced, okay? 2. 3. Final S not pronounced. 3. 4. 4. Okay? So remember that even if you get this U vowel here, basically you don't pronounce it, because that's the rule in French. When we get this Q letter and then a vowel after, then we will have to put this U, okay? So you get this Q-U-A, but then the sound that you will pronounce is K, okay? 4, 4. All right? And next, 5, 5, 5. And be careful here, because even if it's ending with this X, well, you'll have to pronounce it like S, okay? So you get the 6 pronunciation. 6, 6. Okay, so it's not 6, it's 6. All right? Then here, remember, P is not pronounced. Okay, it doesn't exist. So you get this set sound. Set, set. Okay? Then here, final T is pronounced. So, 8, 8. Remember in French, this H letter here, okay, doesn't exist phonetically, so we don't really pronounce it, okay? So if you listen carefully, you will only listen or hear these vowels at the beginning of the word. 8, 8, okay? And then 9, 9, 9, okay? And we'll discover a quite useful thing, because in leçon B, if you remember carefully, I did introduce the numbers till 9, and then we'll continue, so from 10 to 20, okay? De 10 à 20. Okay, so let's start now. 10, okay, so remember, final X here is pronounced like S. 10, 10, okay? Then 11. 11, okay, so O plus N give you the sound on, 11, 11, okay, final E doesn't exist phonetically, 11, okay, 12, 12, O, U, the two together will give you the sound OU, okay, and then Z, 12, 12, alright. Then now if you combine this E and E, you get the sound E, really open. 13, 13. Final E, as usual, not pronounced. 13, 13. Okay? Then here, 14. So remember, Q and U here, well, basically you get to put this U vowel, because that's the rule in French, even if you don't pronounce it, okay? So you will get the sound K here. K, 14, 14, okay? Same thing here, U doesn't exist, so 15, 15, 15, alright? IN, nasal, so it's 1, 1, 15, 15, okay? Then it continues, of course. Now you get this 16, 16, same thing, final E doesn't exist, 16. E and E together, they give you the sound E, really open. 16, 16, okay? Then it becomes logical now, because if you look carefully, you get this 10, okay? 10, and then 7. So if you remember this, it's here, it's 10, and then 7, okay? So it's clear. But then for the pronunciation, 17. Okay, so you don't insist on the S. 17, 17, 17. Okay, then 18. So you will make this little link between the two, the liaison. 18, 18, 18. Okay? Then 19, 19, 19. Okay? E-U-E, 9, 9, 9, 19. And the last one, so this G letter is here, but you don't pronounce it, okay? And then final T doesn't exist phonetically either, so basically you will only need to pronounce these three letters. So you've got V, V, and then you've got nasal, IN, 1, 20, 20, 20, okay? Hi everyone, bonjour à tous and welcome to Learn French with Vincent, and this is Unité 2, leçon D. So let's see what we'll discover together in this lesson, and we'll work on les adjectifs possessifs, so really useful. Well, in French, as usual, we will have the difference between masculine form. So for the masculine form, we'll have mon, ton, son, notre, votre, leur. Okay, so let's be clear, you know, when we talk about les adjectifs possessifs, in English it will be my, your, his, are, your, their. Okay, but then in French, well, basically we'll have the difference between the masculine, the feminine, and the plural. And then keep in mind, we'll see that a bit later when I will give you some examples, that in French we don't decide whether it's masculine, feminine, or plural according to the subject, like in English, because in English you put whether the masculine or the feminine according to the subject, but we will in French put the masculine according to, or the feminine or the plural, according to the word it is connected to. Okay, so it's quite important to just remember that, because it will be really important for the decision whether you put the masculine or the feminine or the plural form. Okay, so we saw first now here the masculine form. Let's check the feminine form, and it's ma, ta, sa. Okay, so you can see well, of course differences, but then still, you know, it works like M, T, and then T, and S. Okay, so, well, mon, masculine, ma, feminine form, ton, masculine form, ta, feminine form, son, masculine form, sa, feminine form. And then the good news is that notre is the same, votre is the same, and then leur is the same. Okay, so you don't really have a difference between these three persons. You will have to use the same adjective possessive. Okay, so the only difference is there, mon, ton, son, ma, ta, sa. Okay, and now let's see the plural part here. Okay, so for the phonetical or pronunciation aspect of it, then remember that this es here combined will give you the sound e. Okay, so you'll pronounce it like me, okay, te, so logical, same pronunciation here, te, se. Alright, so me, te, se. Okay, and then for the plural, no, vos, and then leur. Okay, so remember, even if you've got this final S, you don't pronounce it, as it was the case already for this word, no, you don't pronounce the final S, vos, you don't pronounce it, leur. Okay, so if we see that one more time, it's me, te, se, and then no, vos, leur. Okay, so let's see a few examples now. So for the masculine, mon, père. Okay, so père means father. Okay, so father is masculine, and so you will put mon père. So you will put here the masculine adjective possessive, my father, just because father is masculine. Okay, so the subject, the person who is actually talking about his father or her father, doesn't really affect the fact that you use the masculine or the feminine here. You put the masculine because father is masculine. Okay, so vélo, bicycle. If you want to say my bicycle, you will say mon vélo. Okay, just because vélo is masculine. Un vélo, and then mon vélo. All right, let's see now a few or two examples for the feminine. Mother. Mother is feminine, and then you will have ma mère. Ma mère, my mother, ma mère. Okay, here you've got voiture. Voiture means car, a car. Okay, and it's feminine, so une voiture. Same thing here, you will put the feminine form, ma voiture. Ma voiture. Okay, and let's see now for the plural. So parents, parents, mes parents, okay, because it's the plural form here. Okay, so you get the plural form here as well. Mes parents, okay, and then amis, friends, okay, it's the plural form, so it's mes amis, okay, and then let's be purist and make this beautiful liaison between these two words. Mes amis, mes amis, mes amis. All right, so I hope it's clear, because of course, as usual in French, we've got some exceptions, and the exceptions are for the feminine words, like identité, for instance. Identité, so it does mean identity, okay? If you look carefully at this word, you can notice that it is starting with a vowel, so I in that case, okay? And then for aesthetical reasons, we think that ma identité, so the way that normally you should put the feminine form, so ma identité, doesn't sound nice, so for that reason we put the masculine adjective possessive. So remember, with the words, feminine words that start with a vowel like I here, identité, you will have to use les adjectifs possessifs masculins, so the masculine form. So it goes like mon identité, so my identity, mon identité, mon identité. Okay, another example, adresse, so same thing here, adresse is a feminine word, but then it starts with a, okay, same thing, you will have to use adjectif possessif masculin, mon adresse, my address, mon adresse, okay, you can hear now this little link, so you've got to pronounce this N, mon adresse, okay, and the last one I took, same thing, opposition, well, basically feminine, but then it starts with the O, mon opposition, you make this link, hein? Mon opposition, so let's repeat it one more time, mon identité, mon adresse, mon opposition. Okay, I hope everything was okay with you. So it was leçon D. Okay, so remember to check for the next lesson and the previous lessons there, here, and then you get, of course, more material at the following website, www.imagier.net. Okay, bye bye. Work on les pronoms toniques. So they're useful, and normally we tend to introduce them quite fast in French because you will have to use them. Les pronoms toniques, so if you remember we saw les pronoms personnels like je, I, tu, you, etc., etc. Okay, but then in that case, when you want to use this pronom tonique, normally you want to insist, okay, and then you want to use this moi form, so moi is me. So that's the main difference between moi, me, and then je, I. Because je, normally you will use that to construct a sentence as a subject. Okay? Normally this moi is not a subject, so it's not possible to put that right before a verb. It would be a mistake. Okay? Moi, so it's me. Moi. So remember this OE combination give you the sound wa wa wa. Moi. Okay? And then you get toi, toi. For the masculine form we get lui, lui, lui. Okay? And for the feminine form we've got elle, elle. So you can notice that, well, basically for the masculine it does change because pronom personnel is il, okay, and in that case pronom tonique is lui, all right. But then for the feminine form it's the same, so it's elle, okay. And then good news, same thing for the plural, nous, vous, okay. So they don't change. You get nous and then you get vous as for the pronom personnel, and same thing here for the plural form, third person of the plural. So the masculine form will change and you get the sound remember, final X not pronounced, and then plural elle, elle. Okay, so let's see them one more time. Moi, toi, lui, elle, nous, vous, eux, elle. Okay, so I did prepare a few examples. So the first one, moi, j'aime le tennis. Okay, so here you can see that you start the sentence with moi, okay, so me, okay, and then you have to put pronom personnel, je. Okay, so in that case you take the away because the verb is starting with a vowel, okay? But then j'aime. So this j'aime form, I like, or then I love. Okay? Le tennis. Moi, j'aime le tennis. So basically if you start with moi here, you want to insist on the fact that you really like or you really love tennis. Okay? Let's see the second example. Toi, tu préfères le golf. Okay, préférer, to prefer, obviously. Okay, toi, tu préfères le golf. Toi, tu préfères le golf. Okay, and then here, so we've got here the masculine form. And here we've got the feminine form, so let's see the masculine form first. Lui, il adore le foot. Lui, il adore le foot. Okay, so here, lui, pronom tonique, and then il, pronom personnel, adorer, to adore, le foot. We're talking about football here, okay? Elle déteste, détester means to hate, okay? Le basket. And we're talking about basketball here. Basket, okay? Elle déteste le basket. Okay? So even if you see them twice, I mean, you've got this elle, okay? Then remember that in that case, basically you want to insist, really. So you put first pronom tonique. It does look the same as pronom personnel here, but still, you get two different pronouns here. Pronom tonique and then pronom personnel. Elle déteste le basket. Okay? Same thing here. Nous aimons bien la boxe. Okay? So the difference between aimer here, like I love, okay, and aimer bien, normally when you put this bien after aimer, well, it's because you want to insist on the fact that you like, you don't love something, you like it. Okay? Nous aimons bien la boxe. All right? Next example. Vous détestez la natation. Vous, vous détestez la natation. Natation is coming from nager, nager to swim, okay? And then natation is the substantive form. Vous, vous détestez la natation. And then the two last examples. So first the masculine here, and then the feminine here. So let's see the masculine form. Eux, so if you remember, it was eux, pronom tonique. Ils préfèrent, so préférer, to prefer, and then you can see that it's here, the plural form. Ils préfèrent la marche. La marche is coming from the verb marcher, marcher to walk, okay? La marche. Eux, ils préfèrent la marche. And then the feminine example. Elles, elles adorent le jogging. Elles, elles adorent le jogging. Okay? Let's read them one more time. Moi, j'aime le tennis. Toi, tu préfères le golf. Lui, il adore le foot. Elle, elle déteste le basket. Nous, nous aimons bien la boxe. Vous, vous détestez la natation. Eux, ils préfèrent la marche. Elles, elles adorent le jogging. Work on the questions, so les questions, and especially the little words that you will have to use or to put at the beginning of your questions. And the first example that we can see is quand. Quand means when, okay? So let's see two examples. So if you start a question with quand, like in the first example here, quand arrivez-vous, okay? Arriver is to arrive, okay? So vous, second person of the plural, you can use that for a group of person, or then you can use that for one person, and that's the polite way to use. Quand arrivez-vous? And now you can see that we've been changing the order. So normally, of course, the subject is before the verb, okay? But then the correct way to make a question, if you start with this quand, is to change the order. So first you put the verb, then you put this pronom personnel. Okay? Quand arrivez-vous? Alright? And then the rule is like in French, you get to raise a little bit your voice at the end of a question. Quand arrivez-vous? Quand arrivez-vous? Okay? Make this little link between the two. Quand arrivez-vous? Quand arrivez-vous? All right. And then, well, when we talk, then we normally have this option to drop this rule. So not to use this rule, so just to put the first, the verb, and then the subject after. And we tend to add this est-ce que form here, est-ce que, okay? So, and you'll get this question. So, quand est-ce que vous arrivez? It is exactly the same question, okay? It is quite long if you compare it to the first one. It is more spoken, okay? It is less formal, and that's normally what you'll hear if you talk with French people. Quand est-ce que vous arrivez? Quand est-ce que vous arrivez? Okay, and then here you see that because you've been using this est-ce que form, then you keep the normal order. So first the subject, vous, and then the verb. Okay, quand est-ce que vous arrivez? All right, and then don't be afraid to raise your voice a little bit at the end. Quand est-ce que vous arrivez? Quand est-ce que vous arrivez? You see, so it's not really the opera. You don't need to go really high, you know, but it's just a little bit. Quand est-ce que vous arrivez? That's it. And the next one is où. Où means where. Where. Okay, so quand, when, remember? Où, where. Two examples. Same rule, okay, so the formal or the classic way, if you want to ask a question with où, would be to change the order. So first the verb, then the subject here. Où habitez-vous? Où habitez-vous? Where do you live? Habiter is to live. So you live like if you're talking about the place where you are living, okay? où habitez-vous? Où habitez-vous? And then same possibility, you just add this est-ce que, and then you keep the normal order of the sentence, so subject and verb. Où est-ce que vous habitez? Où est-ce que vous habitez? Alright. Next. Pourquoi? Pourquoi is really useful because it's why. Okay, so remember, quand, when, où, where, pourquoi, why. Same thing here, okay, pourquoi, you should change the order. Okay, so first the verb and then the subject. That's the correct or formal or classic way of asking a question. Pourquoi venez-vous? Venir is to come. So why do you come? Pourquoi venez-vous? Pourquoi venez-vous? Alright, same rule here. If you want to add this est-ce que, then you just keep the classic order like subject and verb. Pourquoi est-ce que vous venez? Pourquoi est-ce que vous venez? Okay, and then comment is how. Comment venez-vous? How do you come? Comment venez-vous? Comment venez-vous? Comment est-ce que vous venez? Comment est-ce que vous venez? And then the last one. Combien? How much, how many? So in French we use this combien, how much or how many. Combien de sucre? Sucre means sugar. And then voulez-vous? Okay, vouloir, to want. Okay, so how many sugar do you want? Combien de sucre voulez-vous? Combien de sucre voulez-vous? Combien de sucre voulez-vous? And then same thing here, just add this est-ce que. Combien de sucre est-ce que vous voulez? Combien de sucre est-ce que vous voulez? Alright? Discover together le verbe faire, so the verb to do. Okay, so faire is really useful because we tend to use it quite much in French. Okay, so it's, well, usually quite important to discover this verb at the right beginning. So le verbe faire. Je fais. Je fais. Remember, final S not pronounced. Je fais. Tu fais. Same rule here, final S not pronounced. Tu fais. Il, masculin, and then elle, féminin, fait. Final T not pronounced. Il, elle, fait. So if we take 1 second, actually you can see that here, here, and here, you've got the same phonetical form, so the same form that you will pronounce. Okay, so you get je fais, tu fais, il fait, and then elle fait. It's the same. Okay? Then nous. So it's quite strange because French people tend to pronounce faisons. Okay? So like here, this AE is not pronounced like normally we should pronounce it like E, but then like E. Okay? Nous faisons. Nous faisons. Okay? And then this one is a bit tricky, so you will have to remember that. And it's quite funny because many French people tend to make the mistake and tend to say vous faisiez, okay? But then no. It's vous faites. Vous faites. Okay? So remember, final S here is not pronounced, and then this is not pronounced either. So faites, faites. Vous faites. And ils, plural, font, final T not pronounced, font, elles font. Okay, so I will repeat the whole thing one more time. Je fais, tu fais, il fait, elle fait, nous faisons, vous faites, ils font, elles font. We'll discover la forme négative. So if you want to say that you are not blah 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 doing something, or so the negative form in French. And so the negative form in French is composed of 2 elements. The first one is ne, and then you get your verb, and right after your verb you will have to put this pas. Okay, so first ne, then the verb, and after that, pas. Okay, we write it PAS, okay, but as usual, final S is not pronounced, so it's pas. Okay, remember one thing, in some cases, we will have verbs starting whether with a vowel or then with H, plus a vowel, and in French, H is not pronounced, okay, so for these verbs, will have to disappear, and it will be written like that, n. Okay, then will come the verb, and after that, doesn't change, it will be pas. Alright, so let's see a few examples now. So for ne pas, so if you get a sentence like il parle avec moi. So il parle, he is talking, avec, with, moi, me. Okay, remember this moi? We introduced that in this unit, and it was a pronom tonique. Okay, il parle avec moi. So if you want to put the negative form of this sentence, so remember, first part ne, so before the verb, then you put your verb parle. Basically, you don't change it, just put it there, parle, and after that you put the second part pas. Okay, then you get the sentence il ne parle pas avec moi, and that's it. You've got your negative sentence here. Okay, let's see now how it will go with n apostrophe pas. Okay, so nous allons en France. Okay, so in that case, if you look, you've got the verb aller. Aller means to go. Okay, nous allons, we are going. Okay, en France, to France. Here, first letter is A. Okay, remember the rule. If it's not with a vowel, like here it is the case, you will have to drop and take away this form. So that's the reason why we've got this N apostrophe like that. N'allons. Nous n'allons. And then you don't really need to think. You just put this pas after the verb, en France. Nous n'allons pas en France. Nous n'allons pas en France. And that's it. Okay, second example here, it's with the verb habiter. Habiter is to live, you know, when you introduce the place where you live. Okay, and then here I took this example or this verb just because, of course, it's starting with H, but as I said, you don't pronounce it, so the first sound you hear here is the vowel, and that's enough just to drop and to take away this so you will basically make it like in this example. You will put this N apostrophe. Elle n'habite pas dans cette maison. So elle habite, she lives or she is living, in this house. Elle habite dans cette maison, and then negative form. Elle n'habite pas dans cette maison. This lesson will work on les adjectifs démonstratifs. So les adjectifs démonstratifs, in English it would be this or these, okay? But then as usual in French, we've got the difference between the masculine, the feminine, and the plural, okay? So we'll see that. So for the masculine form, it will be ce, and then it will be cette, okay? So as usual in French, remember, it can be tricky if a letter, an adjective like that, for instance, is ending, or it could be an article, is ending with a, okay? Just because for some words starting with a vowel or with H plus a vowel, then we will have to modify it, okay? And that's the reason why here we've got set, okay? But then it's still the masculine form, ce, cette. For the feminine it will be set, so only one, set. And then for the plural form it will be c'est. Okay, so let's see that again. Ce, or then set, féminin set. So you can notice that phonetically these two are pronounced the same way. Okay, set here and then set here. And for the plural, c'est. Really open this c'est. Okay, so let's see a few examples now. The first one, so I did take this train. Train is train, okay, so it's masculine, so it starts with T, so no problem. You will put this ce train, okay, it would be translated like this train, ce train, okay. Here you've got ordinateur, so ordinateur, a computer, okay, and it's masculine, un ordinateur, okay, but if you look carefully, it starts with O, okay, so vowel, and then you will have to take this set form, so the masculine form, but the one that we'll use with the words that start with vowels, or then H plus voyelle, okay? So, cet ordinateur, this computer, cet ordinateur, okay? And then here, we've got the word homme, man, okay? But then it starts with H, as in French, H is not pronounced, so the first sound that we hear is O, okay, and then it will follow the same rule. You'll have to use the masculine adjective démonstratif, but this form, cet homme, alright? Femme, woman, cette femme, this woman, cette femme, okay, and then the last one, personne, persons, pluriel, ces personnes, okay, so let's repeat them one more time. Ce train, cet ordinateur, cet homme, cette femme, ces personnes. In this lesson, and we'll work on the way to conjugate les verbes réguliers, so the regular verbs of the first group, okay, and then with er, so let's start now. So let's take an example. The example is parler. Parler is to speak or to talk, okay? And then if you have a look at it like that, you can basically divide this verb in two parts. The first part, parle, and then second part, er. So it does mean that this verb, ending with er, is belonging to the first group of verbs. In French, we've got three groups, okay? The two first are regular, and the last one, the third one, is irregular. So this is one verb ending with er. It does mean that it belongs to the first group, and it won't be tricky or so difficult to conjugate. So we'll see together how to conjugate this verb. The first person, like je here, so you will put this parle again, so remember, and after that you just put the ending e, and then the way to pronounce it is je parle. So remember, we put it, okay, but then we don't really pronounce it. Je parle, okay? Then for tu, you will have to put es, okay? Phonetically, tu parles. So you've got the two first forms, you pronounce them the same way. You write them differently, of course, because you've got here, and then you've got and s, okay? But then phonetically, they are the same. Je parle, tu parles. Okay, so let's see what you'll get for il and elle. And well, as you see, you've got il parle, elle parle. So it's the same form here. So if you really want to only speak and only use orally the language, well, it's quite easy to conjugate these verbs. Je parle, tu parles, il parle, elle parle. Okay, for nous, okay, we'll have, well, let's say the classical ending for nous, and it will be ons. Classical because you will see that with the other groups as well, it's quite common to have this ons for nous, okay? Nous parlons, okay? Remember, final s is not pronounced, okay? And then this on together, they will give you the sound on, okay? Nous parlons, all right? Let's see now for vous parlez, okay? Remember, a z, when you combine them together, you get the sound et. Vous parlez, all right? And the last one, So even if you've got this ENT, don't hate me, but you won't pronounce these letters. Okay, you have to write them for the plural form, but you don't pronounce them. So you get il parle, elle parle. So the good news is that you've got here je parle, tu parles, il, elle parle, and then if you check it here, il, elle parle. So it's the same phonetical pronunciation or phonetical form, sorry. Okay? And then you've got nous parlons and then vous parlez. Alright? So here, remember the endings. You will have to write them, okay? Alright, so we'll take another example. Regarder is to watch, okay? So you can see that the verb is ending with er, okay? So you take it, you just take this er away and then you keep this radical form, like we say in French, only this form, okay? So you will get je regarde, tu regardes, il regarde, elle regarde, nous regardons, vous regardez, il regarde, elle regarde. Okay, so one more time here. Regarde, 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 and then regarde. So phonetically, only one form here. And then regardons, regardez. Alright? Remember that even if this beautiful verb aller, that we tend to use quite often because it means to go, okay, even if it ends with er, it is not regular at all. In this lesson we will count together, yeah, so from 20 to 50, de 20 à 50. I hope you're ready because it's starting right now. 20, 21, okay, so remember to make this little link, 21, 21, 22, 22, 23, 23, 24, 24, 25, 25, 26, 26, so remember it's ending with X, but then we pronounce it S, 26, 27, remember set, it was this P disappear, you don't pronounce it, 27, 28, so here you make the liaison, 28, 28, 29, 29, 29, then here remember this en, 30, 30, 30, okay, don't insist on the it doesn't exist here, 30, 31, 31, 31, 32, 32, 33, 33, remember final S doesn't exist, 33, 34, 34, 34, remember in French the rule is that if you start with, well, if you get this combination Q, U, A, well, you will pronounce it K, K. Same thing for the other vowels, okay? So because that's the rule, after Q, normally we put U and then another vowel, but then this U, well, basically it's not pronounced, okay? So K, 4, 34, 35, 35, 36, 36, 37, 37, 38, 38, 39, 39, 40. Okay, so same rule as previously, as for 4, okay? 40. 40. Okay? 41. 41. 42. 42. 43. 43. 44. 44. 45. 45. 46. 46. 47. 47. 48. 48. 49. 49. 50. 50. Same thing here, okay, remember that you get this QU, but then you don't pronounce the U, and then you get the nasal, un, and then en, 50, 50, okay? We'll discover together le verbe venir. Venir means to come, okay, to come, so it's quite useful, and then you will have to use it quite often in French. So let's see how you conjugate this verb at the present form, okay, because this verb is not regular, just wanted to tell you first, okay? So, the first form is je viens. Je viens, okay? Remember this I, viens, viens, and then this nasal, final S not pronounced. Je viens. Tu viens. So it's the same form, okay? Tu viens. Il, elle, vient. Final T not pronounced. Il vient, elle vient. So, if we take 1 second just to have a look at the je, tu, il, elle forms, they are phonetically the same. Vient, vient, vient. Okay? You write the S, S, T, but then you pronounce these forms the same way. Okay? For nous, it will be different because nous is here. Nous venons, okay, O-N-S, classical ending for nous, okay, final S not pronounced, so O-N, on, venons, venons, nous venons, nous venons, okay, and then vous venez, remember a Z combined like that, et, venez, venez, vous venez, okay. And then the last form, so remember here, it's quite interesting because we've got this E vowel here, and then we've got a double N after, okay? And the rule in French is that when you get this E and a double vowel after, you will have to pronounce this E like E, alright? So, vienne, 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 okay? Ils viennent, elles viennent. Ils viennent, elles viennent. Alright? E-N-T, you don't pronounce them. Ils viennent, elles viennent. Alright? So, je viens, tu viens, il vient, elle vient, nous venons, vous venez, ils viennent, elles viennent. Alright, this lesson will work on vocabulary and then the vocabulary connected to la famille, so the family, la famille, and then we'll start with the grandparents, les grands-parents, les grands-parents. Remember, you don't pronounce this final S here, grands-parents, okay? So, le grand-père, grandfather, le grand-père. Remember, E accent grave like that. It's this open E. Père. Le grand-père. Le grand-père. And then the feminine form, grandmother. La grand-mère. La grand-mère. Okay, so les grands-parents, le grand-père, la grand-mère. Okay, so let's see now the parents. Les parents. Les parents. Le père, the father, le père, la mère, the mother, la mère. Okay, so les parents, the parents, le père, la mère. All right, so till now, I think that it's not really difficult to remember. Okay, let's see now. Les enfants. Okay, so first I don't make the liaison. Les enfants, just for you to see that we've got this en, and then we've got this en as well. Same pronunciation here. Enfant. Don't pronounce the T. You don't pronounce the S. Enfant. Okay, and now we can focus on the liaison here. So you should make the little link. Les enfants. Les enfants. Okay, enfants, children. Les enfants, the children. So let's see. It will be the masculine form, so the son. Okay, so it's le, and then even if you've got this L, well, basically you don't pronounce it, and then strangely you pronounce the final S. Le fils. Le fils, le fils, le fils. And then the feminine form, the daughter, la fille. Yeah. Okay, so this L here and E will give you the sound Y. La fille, la fille. Okay, so make the difference between the masculine form, le fils, and then the feminine form, la fille. Okay, so les enfants, le fils, la fille. Okay, and then the grandchildren, but then in French we use the petit. Petit is like small. Okay, so les petits enfants. Make this liaison here. Petits enfants. Okay, les petits enfants. Les petits enfants. So grandson would be in French petit fils. Okay, so le petit fils. Le petit fils, and then the feminine form, la petite. So I insist because here it's t. Okay, so really you need to make the difference between the masculine form petit and then the feminine form petite. Okay, so la petite fille, la petite fille. So let's repeat them. Les petits enfants, le petit-fils, la petite fille. Okay? And then, when you're talking about your in-law family, well, in French we use this beau and belle, so it's beautiful, okay? So, the beautiful family, you're talking about your in-laws, okay? So, la belle famille, la belle famille. Remember, I-L-L-E-I, la belle famille, okay? So, père, okay, father, so father-in-law, okay, in French it's le beau-père, the beautiful father, le beau-père. So remember this E-A-U combination of vowels only give you the sound O, beau, okay? Le beau-père. Mother-in-law, la belle-mère, la belle-mère, la belle-mère, okay? So let's see them one more time. La belle-famille, le beau-père, la belle-mère, all right? And then brother-in-law, le beau-frère, le beau-frère, le beau-frère. So frère is brother, okay? And then feminine form, here you get sœur, okay? So sister-in-law, la belle, so we put the belle form here because it's the feminine form, sœur, la belle-sœur, la belle-sœur.